So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the fifth session of the Metabuilding webinar series dedicated to the ecosystem advocacy and the linkage to policy and public funding. Today, we'll look at how our ecosystem connects to European policy frameworks and funding instruments, and what this means in practice for SMEs and organizations in our network. A quick note before we start, unfortunately, Luigi is unable to join us due to an unforeseen commitment, and his presentation will be delivered on his behalf by Carmine, who we thank for stepping in. So alongside Carmine, we are joined by Germaine Adel, that is General Director of Metabuilding Project and Metabuilding Association, and Claudia Hunziker Keller, that is a reference for R&D fundings in Nobatek. So the session is recording, and you can drop your question anytime in the chat that is going to be monitored. So let's get started. Carmine, over to you.
Okay, good morning. And again, I'm here on behalf of Luigi Perissich for this part of presentation, and I hope my screen is visible. And I will introduce the Metabuilding Innovation Ecosystem and the value proposition for regional funding authorities and agencies. So what is Metabuilding? It's an ecosystem and a business environment. It started with the Metabuilding project and the Metabuilding digital platform. With the Metabuilding Labs, the environment has been enlarged to include an OITB. And then the Metabuilding Association is the single entry point that manages both the OITB and the digital platform. This is the digital platform providing free ecosystem services and access to Metabuilding Labs services that are expert testing services through the OITB. This is the appearance of the platform, the landing page of Metabuilding.com platform. But Metabuilding.com is not Metabuilding is not only a platform. We want it to be the heartbeat of the European construction sector. It's a collaborative ecosystem designed to modernize the construction sector. And it's needed to connect stakeholders breaking industry silos to do construction with cutting-edge technologies to innovate. It's a single entry point for research and development, testing and certification, and to scale up, empowering SMEs to lead resilient, inclusive, and sustainable market. So it's a launchpad for innovation. Our technical service network, it's a one-stop shop for transforming ideas into market-ready solutions. Trying to move the presentation. The Metabuilding Association is already, this is the partnership for Metabuilding with the additional partners coming in. And, too fast. Again, and this is the partnership with the Metabuilding Association. But the extended ecosystems includes also the Nebula and Star Track Built4People Innovation Cluster network that covers throughout Europe and beyond. So the idea is to engage all the partnership and the Built4People Innovation Cluster network in the advocacy linkage to public advocacy and linkage to public policy and public funding. These are objectives of both Star Track and Metabuilding Labs, and this is why in this joint workshop we are trying to establish structured links to policy and public funding. This is to address specific funding to incentivize the construction-related SMEs, and hopefully to address specific funding to support OITB testing for SMEs, eventually through cascade funding. So the idea is to support high potential innovations with dedicated funding to access Metabuilding technical services network. How can we achieve those results? The idea is to identify main actors at regional level, both funding authorities and local clusters, connect to those actors, present them the Metabuilding ecosystem, invite the local actors to support the regional authorities' involvement in the ecosystem, and support the regional policies toward the innovation in the construction sector to create enabling conditions for the transfer and market uptake of innovations. What is the value proposition for these regional funding authorities in agencies? We propose a strategic partnership to power regional innovation and growth. For regional funding authorities and agencies, Metabuilding offers a strategic solution to promote local innovation and scaling it across Europe. Partnering with Metabuilding will amplify the impact of your regional incentives in initiatives and provide local SMEs with a direct channel to a powerful European network and accelerate their growth in the construction sector. Additionally, for the regions, it can amplify the region's European outreach, gaining international exposure to showcase research goals and policies on the Metabuilding platform, promote SMEs' global ambitions using the platform as a key tool to highlight the international activities of the SMEs. It can attract investment and talents, leveraging the platform to promote the regional incentives for external investment, and can strengthen cross-border cooperation using the established network to better support and implement joint initiatives such as Interreg project, for example. Can also accelerate the growth and internationalization of the local SMEs. To foster cross-regional collaboration, the ecosystem facilitates direct collaboration between clusters and public authorities at both national and European level. It connects SMEs with European partners that can use the platform and the platform matchmaking tools to find and secure ideal partners for project and collaboration. It can enhance SME access to essential services, helping local construction SMEs to access services they need to successfully meet the requirements of international calls. It can streamline the search for expertise. It is a centralized hub, and the platform allows SMEs to efficiently find partners with specific expertise, simplifying the collaboration process. Can also drive local innovation and technology adoption. So it's a central challenge for regional agencies to provide effective support to SMEs innovation. And Metabuilding offers tangible solutions to de-risk and accelerate this process. Can unlock access to EU funding, providing direct support for SMEs seeking to prepare and participate in EU funding calls, and can facilitate technology transfer, helping local businesses accessing and integrating cutting-edge innovation through technology transfer initiatives. It can also connect incentives to cutting-edge testing. So the idea is that when an SME is seeking for innovation, we can support it through a set of testing services and expert services delivered through the OITB platform and the platform. So how do we achieve those results? Both Metabuilding Labs and STAR have identified the Built4People Innovation Clusters as the core group of actors that can support the Metabuilding ecosystem at regional level. So we invite the Built4People Innovation Clusters to support the regional authorities' involvement in the ecosystem in order to address the regional policies towards the construction sector and to support SMEs creating enabling conditions for the transfer and market update of their innovative products. Is there any question on this? That is obviously not my specific message, but it's from Luigi Perissich. Maybe I was too fast. But I hope the recording helps.
I think we can eventually, yes. There's a lot of messages in a short period of time. Anyway, to the audience, I will, when I wrap up the session, I will come back to some of the main things about the Metabuilding ecosystem, etc. and try to explain a little bit what is behind and why we are having this. So take it like we will have a second pass on some of the slides. So I hope at the end you will have the general picture. Thank you.
Okay, so if no questions arises in the chat, we can move forward and leave the floor to Claudia, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Can you see my screen, the presentation?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. Good morning, everybody. I'm Claudia Hunziker from Nobatek. Nobatek is the project coordinator of the Star Trek project, and I'm here representing, or I'm here to give you a presentation of ODÉYS. That is one of the partners of the Star Trek project. That has been Estelle Muselek, who has made the presentation, cannot be with us today, so I'm representing her. And I give you also some personal feedback at the end as the coordinator of the Star Trek project. So ODÉYS is a cluster, an innovation cluster in the Nouvelle-Aquitaine region. They were created in 2019. And they are covering the whole Aquitaine region. As you can see, it's a huge territory that includes different parts of France. They have in total 315 members that are companies, research organizations, RTOs, for example, communities, and other prime contractors of the construction sector. So they are spread over a whole and vast territory. And ODÉYS, being an innovation cluster for this region, was one of the first that also joined the movement of Built4People Innovation Clusters. What are these? The Built4People Innovation Clusters are clusters that want to gain maturity in terms of success factor for helping innovation in their specific regions. And ODÉYS was one of the front runners that has signed up to this process in 23 already. What are the missions of ODÉYS? Basically, they cover two types of action. They support the emergence of collaboration and technology transfer. Exactly what we have heard before. It's important to bring the innovation to the market, but here it's also everything with the collaborative approach. So the cluster helps the companies that ask for it to find partners for collaborative projects, to find public funding, either from the region itself or from Europe, and to connect but also owners of an innovative technology and the developers that help them, that come maybe from an RTO that help them to further develop their product towards the market. So this is one of the missions or of the action that ODÉYS is doing. And on the other hand, they also ensure the valorization of innovation, innovative products, innovative technology through dissemination and training. They do a lot of networking. They do workshops, and they communicate to a large professional network. So you see, they do site visits, technical conferences, and symposia and workshops, as I've said. The regional cluster model is actually very strong in the Nouvelle-Aquitaine region, but it also has, let's call it a downside, because the region delegates everything that goes with supporting companies in doing innovation towards the cluster, which means as well that the direct access to the region is rather difficult. But this makes the cluster an ideal door opener towards the regional authorities and the policymakers, and also towards the companies they represent, their members in the region. So in the end, what was presented before in the Metabuilding overview, yes, it's good to talk directly to the region, but in our case, in the Nouvelle-Aquitaine region, this is sometimes quite hard because it's always the region delegates in the cluster, in ODÉYS in our case. So I go to the next slide. So as I said, ODÉYS very early on became a Built4People Innovation Cluster, an emerging one. Now they are on a higher maturity level with respect to the success factor that are, for example, to integrate different actors of the value chain, to integrate and collaborate with other sectors, to help companies to test their innovations in dedicated buildings, to do real life testing. So that you see what a Built4People Innovation Cluster is actually supposed to do. Here you see the first signing ceremony in September 2023, where we brought together 3 clusters from 3 different regions. So Nouvelle-Aquitaine, ODÉYS, the Basque Country built-in, and Navarra icons, and they signed a contract to each of them to become a Built4People Innovation Cluster, but also to work together to profit of synergies between them. And because they belong to the same Euro region, that is Nouvelle-Aquitaine, Euskadi, Navarra. And here they decided in the framework of the Nebula project at the time to join forces, become individual Built4People Innovation Clusters, and work together in their Euro region. What is now going on in STAR Track? Actually, in STAR Track, these 3 clusters have decided to continue the deployment of the cluster maturation roadmap. They have a roadmap for the 3 of them, where they focus on bringing innovation to the market, helping SMEs to be integrated in European projects, working together with other industrial sectors, exchange good practice between them and with other regions, of course, as well, strengthen the cluster management itself and the service delivery. And Metabuilding Labs, for example, helps them to get access to service providers and support the policy learning and ecosystem development. So actually, the ODÉYS is an advocacy actor towards the government, the regional government and the different actors, but also towards the companies. So they engage with regional innovation stakeholder. As you have seen, there are different types that are integrated in the cluster, and they promote European opportunities for SMEs and contribute to policy discussions on sustainable construction and innovation. They have a large focus as well on networking, to bringing together these different types of actors, so industry, academia, and public authorities within European projects and in their proper workshops and events they do. And of course, they help to disseminate what is being conceived and done in the Built4People partnership and in the Built4People Innovation Cluster network. And also they help us to distribute in their specific region the STAR Track results, the results of the STAR Track project. Let's see. I'm moving forward, yes. Okay, so what are the lessons learned? The clusters are trusted intermediaries between policy and industry, and have this advocacy role, as I said, towards both of them. They help to accelerate and bring in regional impact through European cooperation. And the new government in the Aquitaine region has once again assured how important it is to bring in these ideas and innovations from Europe, from European project, to help the development of the regional economy. It's also important, and what we have learned, that the advocacy can't be just done by itself, but it must be connected to concrete services for SMEs. This is also why you will see later on, we actually focus on helping to push green public procurement in the framework of STAR track. Then we also have seen that the maturation roadmap is important for these types of clusters, or in this case, it's even a meta cluster, and that these roadmaps must be linked to the regional smart specialization strategy and help the long-term cluster development. I tried to switch slides, but it's rather slow. I hope it works. So here you see the next steps. Of course, we will continue with the implementation of this maturity roadmap. We will contribute the ODÉYS cluster and the others to further contribute to best practices that we have conceived in the form of a Built4People Innovation Cluster handbook that shows innovation clusters that want to become and engage Built4People Innovation Cluster and engage in this maturity process to show how to do that, on what they have to focus, and how to best to do it. Then it's, I think, a really important step is to strengthen these advocacy activities towards the region. And I think this will be possible in the future with the change of certain key actors. I think this will get more importance, and we will be more effective. Then we still continue to expand the collaboration opportunities for SMEs, and basically also by doing all these kind of activities, we contribute to the long-term sustainability of the Built4People Innovation Cluster network. Sorry, sometimes it's rather slow when I want to move the slides. Here we go. So this is now more from a STAR track perspective, so from a STAR track project perspective, to show you what we do in order to help the Built4People Innovation Clusters, their managers and their members in the end, to learn about what's going on with respect to EU policies and the innovation ecosystem. It's there where Metabuilding Labs and it's Metabuilding ASPL takes an important role, because they are a trainer that will train these Built4People Innovation Cluster managers to become certified innovation assistants that will actually help them to understand how the European policies function, the European calls function, how to best shape joint value proposition between their members and bring them in to European consortia, and also create feedback towards these companies that are Built4People Innovation Cluster members and the regional government itself. So I think this is a very important package of the STAR track project that helps us to train the trainers that will then also train the companies in their specific regions about what's going on in Europe and how to best participate in a European project. And a second example that I want to talk about, I said it already, STAR track has a specific component that is focusing on advocacy toolkits, on public procurement for innovation, but also, and more importantly so, on green public procurement. This is where, in this case, it's our partner Dowell Innovation that will help the Built4People Innovation Cluster managers to understand what's going on with respect to EU Green Public Procurement criteria and policies, and try to provide them with a toolkit that they can go to their regional authorities and push to implement green public procurement in the specific region. So this toolkit will provide recommendations and show how to focus and nurture public investment to drive the regional economic development. This is all from my side. Thank you very much, and don't hesitate if you have any questions.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Claudia. Let's wait 20 seconds if someone is prompting some questions in the chat. Otherwise, we can move to the next speaker, Carmine.
Again.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Okay, I learned how to share. So this time I switched my background. This time I'm talking on behalf of STRESS, the organization that I represent. STRESS is a partner of the Metabuilding Labs project, but it's also a Built4People Innovation Cluster. And within our, let's say, within the deployment of our maturity roadmap that Claudia already introduced as a concept, we have been performing some advocacy activity. So we have been pushing the ecosystem, the entire ecosystem, in the last years, focusing on the Metabuilding Association activities, but it's part of our nature, let's say. So what is STRESS? STRESS in Italian is the Distretto ad Alta Tecnologia sulle Costruzioni Sostenibili. STRESS was among the prospective Built4People Innovation Clusters to sign in September 2024 the Built4People Innovation Cluster Charter within the Nebula project framework. And we are a structured consortium. In Italy, the translation is High-Tech District for Sustainable Construction. STRESS actually is a non-profit public-private consortium established in Naples in 2010 with the aim of promoting innovation in the construction sector through a network of research institutes and private companies. We are classified as an RTO ourselves. But in 2012, STRESS was designated by the Italian Ministry of Education, University and Research as the implementing body of the High Technology District for Sustainable Construction through a public procurement process within a framework agreement with the Campania region. So since then, STRESS is a key player in Italy's innovation landscape for the built environment, with a strong presence and vocation in the entire southern Italy, not related only to the Campania region. About us, the main activities that STRESS performs is promoting, coordinating, and implementing research and innovation projects at regional, national, and international level, and offer high-tech engineering services for the sustainability and resilience of the built environment, creating value starting from multidisciplinary human capital. We are involved in many projects at national, regional, and European level, both in research and development and professional training or vocational training activities. The mission of STRESS is to support the construction sector through all the themes related to energy efficiency, risk management, enhancement of historical heritage, open innovation, internationalization, professional training, and through the different, let's say, thematics of sustainability, energy transition, climate neutrality, resilience, digital translation, and circularity. Our partnership is vast, but focused on two main blocks. There is the research, public research entities like University of Napoli, National Research Council, University of Sanya, University of Padova, and the University of Molise. And on the other side, the companies range from construction companies, engineering companies, IT dedicated companies with a special focus on construction material producers, and ESCOs. So we have we embrace the full value chain of possible stakeholders within the construction sectors. They are associated to STRESS, so they are shareholders, but we also perform activities with other partners at regional and local level. We provide services to spin-off companies born from research and development activities. So we have 3 companies offering digital services and infrastructures. We offer expertise in hydrogen technologies. We have testing infrastructures, and we are involved in professional training activities like for cultural heritage and for energy efficiency or construction-related activities. We offer also testing infrastructure. One of them is the ODÉYS that we built within the Metabuilding Labs internally. We have hydrogen technology-related testing infrastructures with the University of Sannio and the University of Molise. We're part of the Metabuilding Association and involved in the DHCube activities as Digital Innovation Hub for the Italian construction sector, but we are also a Built4People Innovation Cluster and partner of the European Construction Technology Platform since almost the beginning. As I said, our network is based in Campania, but our actions range throughout southern Italy with collaboration with Puglia, Molise, Campania, but also with Lombardy region. At European level, our network is very spread with different activities and partnerships. But as Claudia said, each Built4People Innovation Cluster has signed and has proposed an implementation plan to develop its maturity level. And STRESS, since September 2024, has triggered different objectives that were included in its implementation plan. Some of them were related to the fact that we want to propose cross-border opportunities, promoting interregional activities and programs to our members. We did it through the previous initiative in which, since we cannot have the regional authorities for our statute inside the partnership, we supported the Campania region in the activities of the previous project. And then STRESS within the Metabuilding Labs project has built its own facility, the ODÉYS, that has been completed, and it's thought to facilitate local SMEs on the demonstration and market uptake of their innovations. So previously, it's an Interreg initiative that was proposed by Campania region with other regional authorities, and STRESS has been supporting the Campania region throughout the process, and this is one of the roles and the ways in which, as a cluster, innovation cluster, we are interacting and pushing the regional authorities, supporting them and addressing them on construction-related topics. The other way is related to the Metabuilding Labs project. We built our infrastructure that is now fully completed and it's starting its operations in the University of Molise within, let's say, supported by the Molise region also. But our engagement with regional innovation stakeholders has included also promotion of European opportunities for SMEs and local administrations. Again, through research projects, the High Manto Valley and the Mediterranean project, we have been involving and replicating activities and connecting different regions and local authorities with European actions. But we are also being contributed to policy discussion on sustainable construction and innovation. We have supported the development and updates of the regional smart specialization strategy. This is probably the most important point and issue in which the local cluster can address the policies and then support regions to support the sector and address specific funding to the construction sector. We have been, let's say, promoting direct management of an engagement of SMEs in EU calls, like for the I3 projects, the Campania region has proposed and has defined a specific process of authorization for the letter of commitments. And we have been pushing the community of practice for sustainable buildings through our activities. The High-Manto Valley project is an initiative funded by the I3 instrument at European level, in which STRESS is partner, and it is the specific activity is related to the replication of what is happening in the Mantova province in northern Italy. And we are working together with the Campania region and with the University of Sannio and Molise to replicate the activities performed in Mantova province within the Campania region. Also using the infrastructures, the testing infrastructure that STRESS already has set up in the Campania and Molise regions. We are trying to streamline activities and support interregional and interprovincial cooperation through this I3 initiative. Other IT initiatives were supported and proposed by STRESS and the Metabuilding Association that involved Campania region. We also have been very active in involving local authorities in research activities. One of the examples is the Med-Iren project under the missions Climate Missions initiative. We have involved, supported and involved the involvement of the island of Ischia as a demonstrator for the testing of natural-based solution for resilience to climate-related risks. So involving the local ecosystem and bridging it to European activities. So this is one of the roles that the Built4People Innovation Cluster have, and we hope to perform this in the correct way at the regional level. But the other activity, the real advocacy actions that STRESS has been performing even before these initiatives is to influence the regional smart specialization strategy. Since the first release in 2014, we've been pushing to have sustainable construction in the smart specialization strategy in Campania. And this push has been supported also in the last updates. So by supporting the ecosystem of innovation dedicated to sustainable construction, environment, and energy in Campania. And this push is the grip for regional funding to support the construction sector. We did it, and we are still doing with the Campania. We have a constant interaction so that the Campania region has provided a dedicated process and a website to apply for, let's say, consistency, engagement consistency of the smart specialization strategy for the different proposals, starting from proposals that STRESS proposed to the Campania region, one of them within the Metabuilding group. The last, let's say, this advocacy effort for the entire construction sector, and now for the Metabuilding Association towards the Campania region, has brought to the, let's say, to have the construction sector as one of the main actors in the smart specialization, regional smart specialization strategy. The European Commission has an S3 observatory that has produced, and you can access the website, that has analyzed all the regional smart specialization strategies. In Italy, you can recognize the regions that have been involved in this, that have been selected in this query from the Atlas. And those are the regions in which most active Built4People Innovation Cluster are already working and supporting the activities. From this example, there is a specific community of practice that has been created, led by Andalusia and other regions, in which, let's say, follow regions were invited, and it's the Sustainable Buildings community of practice born within the S3 initiative at European level, in which Campania is included because of its smart specialization strategy. But together with Campania, you can also see Emilia-Romagna and the province of Trento, the regions in which the other Italian Built4People Innovation Clusters are based. So we push for a joint effort to push together those initiatives. And we want to support the entire construction sector, but also now the Metabuilding Association activities. What we propose that the Built4People Innovation Network and the community of practice on sustainable buildings, but also the S3 regions interact. And from our point of view and our commitment for the future actors is to start this interaction to fully interact with the different words and to achieve the full coverage of the entire European regional environment, supporting the construction sector. We will do it through the Metabuilding Association. This is all from my side. This is my testimony from a Built4People Innovation Cluster that is also involved in the Metabuilding Association, so we are pushing it. Is there any specific question coming from the audience?
Thanks, Carmine. Not yet. I'm monitoring the chat. No. Thanks a lot. And now we move to the conclusions and give the floor to Germain.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. The audience is super silent today. I hope we have some feedback at the end of the session. But then I will go something that I noticed, and now I'm trying to put my screen. Okay. Okay, do you see my screen, I guess?
Yes.
Okay. So the thing is that I believe we have started this full pace with a lot of jargon. I'm not sure everyone is familiarized with this. So perhaps part of my intervention is try to simplify that jargon. I don't have any visibility on how the attendance is composed, but just for the sake of being really very, very transparent and pedagogic, if we can. So we have talked a lot about the Built4People. So Built4People is a partnership between the European Commission and the private sector of the construction sector, the industrial construction sector. So this is something you should know. So we have mentioned a lot the Built4People Innovation Cluster Network, for instance, and so this is an initiative coming from the Built4People partnership. So if you are following me, European Commission plus the ECTP, because the European Construction Technology Platform is representing the private sector of the construction industrial sector with companies, SMEs, RTOs, meaning research and technology organization, universities, other clusters, etc. So the ECTP, for those of you who don't know, is more than 150 members today. It's one of the 38 official platforms of the European Commission in different industrial sectors, and the European Commission channels, right, the funding for innovation via these partnerships. So previously to the Built4People partnership, we had another one called Energy Efficient Building that channeled 600 million euros for Horizon 2020 and a little bit before. Now Built4People partnership is expected to channel 800 million euros for funding European projects. So we mentioned several times here European projects. So it's not exclusive. Not all European projects are funded by the Built4People Innovation, Built4People partnership, but so it's an important source of funding, and the European Commission prefers to channel this funding because then the industry has something to say. And I will come back later when I will relate these two clusters. So I will start. So this is like a preliminary comment. I will start presenting a little bit or coming back to Metabuilding Labs and Metabuilding. So Metabuilding Labs is an OITB. So you heard that, an open innovation testbed. So that, what does it mean? Well, this is an initiative from the European Commission to create networks of testing facilities and innovation service providers in different industrial sectors. But basically, and a very important point in OITBs are the testing capacities. Because, when you do innovation at a certain point in any industrial sector, you have to perform tests to see if your product is working or not. As expected, for the construction sector, you need to test it to see if they comply with regulation, if they resist to stress, if they resist to climate, etc., etc. So you have a lot of this at a certain point in time go into the certification. So an official body needs to certify that the product is conforming to regulation and expected performance levels, etc. So this is very important, and this in particular is very difficult to get access to from SMEs. So this is why the European Commission for the construction sector made a call for projects back in 2019, I think, to constitute open innovation testbed for the construction sector, and Metabuilding Labs was one of 3 funded projects for this. So the magnitude of the project is 16 million euros. We need to have an idea. So now we are finishing that project this month. And what do we have now? So we have an ecosystem, because our main approach was the ecosystem approach. So we have created a Metabuilding Association to manage this network of actors performing and helping innovation in the construction sector. So we have more than 20 members. Others are joining. We have now, and I will show you in the next slide, new members to the Metabuilding Association that weren't participating in the project, which is very important for us. And then we have the Built4People Innovation Cluster network. We have, of course, as we mentioned before, the Metabuilding.com platform. This platform is the first, and in my view, only open innovation collaborative platform for the construction sector in Europe. We have a lot of things that you can do in the platform. This is not the right moment to explain, but know that you can do matchmaking. So publish opportunities, search for partners, search for pilot buildings. We have digital product passport accessible from the Metabuilding platform, building logbooks, living labs, etc. We have all of these in what we call a multi-sided platform, which is the Metabuilding.com platform. Of course, the Metabuilding ASBL, the association that I am director, so it's a management entity. We are located in Brussels. We have a governance, so a new board of directors with 12 members. We are affiliated now, we are launching a campaign to affiliate other kind of actors of the construction sector with the affiliate membership. That means any SME in the construction sector, even if they don't perform innovation, even if they are very small, etc., can join the Metabuilding Association as affiliate. and they have access to a set of advantages, like intelligence reports about hot topics for the construction sector, discounting events, a lot of things that we have been putting together now, and we are launching this affiliate memberships. So this is what it looks like today, our support network. So you have at the bottom of the page, basically RTOs and universities having these testing facilities, and we have more than 100 labs testing facilities. We can perform over 700 tests for the construction sector. And you, in the higher part of the slide, you see partners that some of these partners are clusters. They are not, they are not RTOs. So that is one in the upper side. We have, as I mentioned before, big players that have joined us even without being in the project, like IMSAT, which is a very, very big industrial cluster for construction materials in Turkey, Mirtek, a big Greek RTO, Sintef, the Norwegian big RTO that everyone knows. We are having an arrangement for cross partnership with the Building Digital Twin Association, Circular Intelligence Association. So we are growing and we are establishing this ecosystem. We have very nice features like the O3 bed that Carmine showed. So this is a very innovative test bench, specifically built to get access to this kind of testing to SMEs, because this is a quite affordable test bench to build. So the testing in these facilities should be more affordable than other more sophisticated kind of testing facilities. So we have been working also in the full TRL scale, so technology readiness level scale for the construction sector. So this O3 bed testing fits in TRL 5 or 6. We also for 7.8, the TRL 7.8 in real build testing in real building, we have a dedicated database of pilot buildings available for testing. So these are part of the things we are doing. The extended ecosystem, you have seen this slide before in this session, but this is important. So why? Because the Metabuilding.com platform is the official collaborative platform of this network. So we have direct access to them. We can mobilize them, of course, if they wish to do so, but they have proven in these latest months that they are hungry for innovation, to participate in things, to test new solutions, etc. So this is something which we consider very important. And why? Because if you're in the construction sector, you should know this, but I'd like to really remind people that, the SMEs represent almost, 99.9% of the European construction sector. And 95% of those SMEs are micro companies of less than 10 people. They produce, the figures can vary, but 80% of the sector economic output. And they are super important, and in general, they are a little bit forgotten in policy, in actions. They cannot go to Brussels, they cannot have internal R&D, etc. So they are struggling to survive, basically. So we have, from the very start of Metabuilding, we want to help these companies. It's very important. And why? Where are these companies? They are in regional clusters. This is the link with clusters and with regions, because clusters are located in territories, and SMEs are affiliated in general to these regional clusters. So we have, from the very start, wanted to go and reach out for them. Then the Commission has followed this, creating and funding the project, Nebula project and Startup project, which are dedicated to really ease and promote the emergence of this called Built4People Innovation Clusters in Europe, and we have been very successful in doing this because there are actually now currently 34 in the process of becoming full-fledged Built4People Innovation Clusters. But now we'll switch. So we spoke a lot about the testing facilities, the hardware part of it, also the ecosystem part of it's institutional, but something which is very important for us is the people that is behind. So it's not the software, but it's the people that make these facilities to run. For the moment, I think I cannot guarantee that in the future the facilities will run by themselves, seeing the evolution in artificial intelligence. But for the moment, this testbed need operators, need specialists, expert engineers running them. So we are focusing now from Metabuilding and in the Star Trek project. Claudia mentioned this. We are setting up training, specific training for the people, a 3-tier system, human ecosystem. So the first tier are innovation assistants. These are located in clusters. These are staff members of the clusters that will get a specific training in order to be able to help innovating companies get access to serve specific services that I mentioned before. And for us, this would be the Metabuilding Labs services, of course. The innovation coaches, which are the experts that sit in RTOs and university, but members of the Open Innovation Testbed Metabuilding Labs. And with all of this, we are organizing communities of practice. So in order to organize the knowledge that will be produced here. So the 2-tier support system of the innovation assistant innovation coach. So it's basically we have explained. I go faster. The innovation assistant is an horizontal. It's a generalist. It's the on-ramping agent. It's like you imagine when you go to a hospital, you're sick. You have someone that assess you very, very quickly and so figure out if you need to go to cardiology or oncology or whatever is happening to you. You have a triage operating there, and this is what we are going to do with innovation assistants in the clusters where the SMEs are. And then the innovation coach. This is now the expert that lies and that work in this RTO that you have seen in the map at the start of our presentation. So these are, of course, specialists. They are really specialized in a sector of the knowledge of engineering, construction engineering, that can be energy, bio-based products, etc. So you name it. These experts are very, very important for us. So we call them innovation coaches because they have to really go with the companies. They have to. It's not just a single. In general, of course, you can have a test and then go away. But in general, companies need someone that goes with them in a long process in order to develop an innovation and put it in the market. So the most important part of it is the handoff when the innovation assistants in the cluster assess first very quickly. This is free. This will be free for companies. Get the first assessment and then use the Metabuilding.com platform backend functions in order to find out who is the right innovation coach for this specific case. Okay. So, and then the last part of it is community of practice, because this is important to set up the knowledge to do really to really use and keep the knowledge live and go further. We will be building a community of practice of all innovation assistants across Europe that will be able then to have a base of knowledge, share experiences, share best practices, get advice one from another, etc. How to best deal with the day-to-day problems that are brought by companies. Of course, this will be based in Communities of Practice Playbook, which is the European Commission vision of Communities of Practice. Then the innovation coaches also will be organizing communities of practice, but we will have several of them, depending on the core expertise of these experts. So we can have, and we are setting up this. So I'm saying we are doing this because in real life, we are still organizing this. So we have several expert communities of practices. They will have both the other communities of practice for innovation assistance and the ones from innovation coaches. They will have the dedicated space in the Metabuilding.com platform in order to organize themselves, exchange documents, etc. This is a collaborative platform, and we'll use it to really structure this. And so to summarize this, is this. So the green transition construction requires also a human network. We are still connecting people, and this is the most important part of it. They can be in the clusters, they can be SMEs connected in the cluster, they can be in the regions. The regions have a lot of things to do, in my opinion. So support the cluster. They mostly, I am sure they are mostly already doing it. But we want this kind of webinar is devoted to this. Try to even reinforce a little bit more the relations between the regional governments and regional clusters. If they know what we are doing, we hope that they can support the ecosystem, of course. A practical way for a region supporting a cluster is to channel dedicated funding, because we know, at least I know Aquitaine region, I live here in France, and they have dedicated funding lines for SMEs. So the idea is that they use our established network and everything. They can rely on it in order to try to get some of their funds for the SMEs, so they can really use it in a proper way to seek for help. The help can come from Metabuilding Labs, or can other actors that are also super valid to help SMEs. But the thing is to make the links, and then the actors will organize themselves. Well, I stop here, and then I show my thank you and my contact slide, and I stop the sharing, and hopefully I get some question for you. I will be happy to
Yes.
answer.
Indeed,
comment.
in the chat, Dumitru Christian has brought that he's from Romania, okay, and had a background in IT and project manager. And recently worked with an architect, a friend of mine from Brussels, a regenerative concept for the old apartment buildings from Eastern Europe. In our opinion, there is a lot of real estate there that can be transformed from old, low energy performance buildings to urban regeneration sites. However, it needs some help and direction within this, and I've written down about this vision.
Okay, well, this is a very specific question, but this shows that people are out there having nice ideas and they don't know how to go up. What I would say to Dumitru is go search help in your local region, because you have a cluster. So if you are a professional in the construction sector, you may have a local cluster. If you don't, you may have a university, a school of architecture, a technical center, etc. So these people do this for a living. They are expert and they are introduced. It's very difficult to be insulated somewhere and having ideas, you don't know what to do. And I understand him. But the idea is you have to enter an ecosystem. And the ecosystem then can provide a lot of things. So they can connect you with other people, etc. You can, if you have a company, you can declare yourself also in the Metabuilding.com platform. Metabuilding.com platform is meant to host organizations. So even if I mean, even if you are a solo entrepreneur, you can declare yourself and have your dedicated page in the Metabuilding platform for free. And then from there, you can, post. I search for partners in order to see if we can, do something with my idea, etc. So you can publish it there. But I would not only do that, but as I said before, try to get human help in your direct environment of dedicated people that are expert in this, and perhaps they can do something with your idea and help you, figure it out.
Excellent. Let's see if there is any other question or comment in the chat for any of the speakers, of course. So if not,
Can I
yeah,
ask question to the audience, or perhaps I don't know.
absolutely.
Is there anyone from a region or clusters? I mean, that would like to raise their hand and say, yes, I am from these clusters of this region, and I have been hearing, and then to see if they can have feedback. If you're not in the mood to participate, just keep silent. But I don't want to force anyone to participate. But I am curious about the composition of the audience, and to see who is hearing us, and if they feel like this may be of their interest. Future. Yes, right. So Silo Future is a cluster in Nouvelle-Aquitaine. So it's a Built4People Innovation Cluster, and it's a cluster dedicated to the timber, the wood sector. So very nice one. I know them, so hi to Silo Future and Claudia. Yes, I'm happy to see you here. I don't know if you want to share your experience, or just tell people why you decided to become a Built4People Innovation Cluster, or whatever. Happy to hear you. Otherwise, Claudia has asked if the audience wants to tell us why they are participating in this webinar. What was the interest in the title, or in general in the Metabuilding ecosystem, or something like that. So any feedback will help. It's not just because we want, to spend a little more time, but any feedback is really welcome, to see if we are really focusing our messages well or not. So here we are. Thank you in advance.
Okay. An emerging topic, and consider the elsewhere to be proactive on this, considering climate change and energy consumption hitting critical levels worldwide. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a hot topic right now.
Yeah, we are getting hot everywhere, Dumitru, and I'm sharing a little bit, just what. Can you still hear me? I have something
Yes.
strange in my screen.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes, we do.
So it's a kind of so people can note the webinar. Things like that. Your opinion matters. How like to recommend this event, etc. So this is from Brain Central. Sorry to bother you with this. So I keep on with my answer is. So of course now everyone is taking a little bit more it's becoming more conscious of the warming planet. But this, we know this since decades. So, but when people were saying this, nobody was hearing, and now, this is my personal opinion, we are like, we are still doing business as usual, where the planet is getting it will get worse and worse and difficult to live in. So it's like, the people in the Titanic that it was sinking and the orchestra was still playing and people were still dancing or whatever. It is the feeling I have. That said, in every place you are acting, you can do your little thing. So I personally, I am at the ECTP level, at the governance of the ECTP since more than 10 years, and there I always push to, consider resilience of building, consider climate change, consider this, consider that. ECTP makes roadmaps, so the industry. So you can, if you participate, I ask you, Dimitri, go search for your cluster or your whatever, and then you can bring up to the discussion on the table these kind of topics and do your little thing, and the sum of every little things across Europe will hopefully become actions, concrete actions. So research and innovation is one concrete action, because we are pushing not whatever kind of topics. In Metabuilding, we work for energy efficiency in building, with smarter building, for greener procurement system for public sector, buying greener solutions, etc., etc. So at every level, one can do things. And very important, if we do it collaboratively, it's better than to do it in isolation. Thank you.
So thanks, everyone. I don't know if there is any other comment. Yes, Carmine.
I have a comment. Since we've been asking the audience to propose questions or declare their origin. The point is that this is a webinar that will be recorded and it will be available on the Metabuilding platform. My suggestion to Claudia is can we please push the link to the webinar to all the Built4People Innovation Clusters in the network, so that everyone has a chance and knows where to get our message today.
Of course. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So I think we can close here. Thanks everyone for participating. It was really interesting and insightful indeed. And feel free to reach out through the platform, explore the platform, as I said, and get in touch with the Metabuilding Association. And see you in the next webinar. Thanks everyone again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you to everyone.